I want to buy a house with no down payment, no fees, no closing costs, no PMI, a low credit score, and I want a good interest rate. Huh, you're joking, right? No, I'm using the NACA home buying program. What's NACA? The Neighborhood Assistance Corporation of America. The program connects low and moderate income earners to affordable home loans and housing education. Oh wow, okay, share the deets. If your household income is less than the median household income where you're purchasing the home, you become a priority member and receive the lowest NACA interest rates. And to qualify, you can't own a home or use this home as an investment property. This sounds too good to be true. What's the catch? Not really a catch, but there is a lot of work involved. You need to attend a NACA homebuyer workshop, meet with a housing counselor, become NACA qualified, attend a purchase workshop, do home inspections, and more. Yeah, but that's not a big deal if it's getting people into their own home. How do you know about all this stuff? Addison teaches me. She's super helpful and knows all the money hacks. That's why I follow her.
So to be approved through NACA in 2022, like I said, you already need to have money. There's two things that they don't play with. One of those are your rent pattern. You must pay your rent on time. So if you were on time with your rent all year and it's time for you to go to your qualification in March and you miss January, guess what? Your year just started again in February. They also don't play with savings. You need to have some type of savings. In New York, what's ideal for a single family is $2,600 a month. But if your rent is only $1,500, then that means that you are now saving $1,100 a month. You cannot stop or skip a savings. Once you establish whatever your savings pattern is, whether it's $50 or $1,000, you need to do that until the closing table.
Let's just say I live with mom and dad. I live at home. Do they have to pay mom and dad?
They don't
live at home and not pay any rent and still get approved?
Well, you don't necessarily have to pay your mom and dad. So if you were lucky enough to have one of those mom and dads that don't charge you, that is now your savings. Even though you live with mom and dad rent free, you're still saving that $2,600 a month so that this way you can show it to NACA. However, instead of a year, they want 8 months.
What's the minimum credit score?
620.
What's a piece of information that you learned that feels illegal to know? I'll start. I was like 14.
I got you. I'm about to show you how you can purchase a $100,000 home for like $5,000. Go to your county's website and search up tax liens. Next, you want to register and look at the assignments. You'll find hundreds and thousands of people that are delinquent on tax payment. That put them in a very uncomfortable position, and what you can do is offer to pay for it. After you pay for it, you'll get a tax certificate. You can preview the homes and lands, but I'd recommend getting with a realtor. In Texas, there's something called the redemption period. Basically, they have 2 years to repay you back, and if they don't, the home is yours.
You guys spoke and I listened, so here's part 2 of how to buy a home with no money down. First, Google USDA.gov eligibility. Then click Single Family Housing Direct. Then click whether you're going to build or purchase, and click Accept. Then pick your state and your county. After you enter your city and state, enter your household member information, and click Next. Then enter your wage and salary income, and for this purpose we put in $3,500 and click Next. Then enter your debt, and for this purpose we put in $500. Then answer these questions about your credit history and click Next. After you've done all that, it'll tell you exactly how much you can qualify for.
Where should you put money that you're saving up for a house? The answer, like most answers I give, is it depends. But I'm gonna walk you through the thought process and give you a couple of recommendations of what to consider. First things first, shout out to you for having a big money goal. And everyone new here, my name is Lisa. I help women of color build wealth. Make sure you follow. Thank God TikTok allows longer videos because if y'all know me, I'm long-winded. It's not gonna be a quick answer. The reason being, personal finance is personal. For this particular question, if you know your risk tolerance and if you kind of know your timeline of when you're planning to buy, it should help make a pretty straightforward decision. Just in case some of y'all are wondering, like, why is this even a question? Isn't it obvious? Don't you save money in a savings account? I'll explain it real quick, but you might want to rewind to the beginning of this video and click the comment. Long story short, there is a cap to how much you should be saving. The number differs for each person. Everything after that should be money that goes towards wealth building activities, like paying off debt, investing, and those types of things. In regards to the question of where should you keep money that you're saving to buy a house? First things first, it depends. When are you trying to buy? You might have to do some calculations and estimates to figure this out, but you should have a general range of when you think you're going to be able to buy. Reminder that this is not financial advice, this is educational only. I want to illustrate the thought process, but different financial planners are going to have different rules of thumb and things that they recommend. Basically, the shorter the time frame, you want to make sure that this money is kept in something that is FDIC insured. This is because if you were to try to invest this to make money on your money, there's no telling what the market's going to look like when you actually need the money. The market could be down like it is right now. So you want to put it into an FDIC insured account, but you want to still try to get some kind of a return on it. Because we all know our money loses purchasing power due to inflation. Here are a couple of examples. I definitely think you should choose an online savings over a regular savings for the higher yield. You can also look into certificates of deposit and ladder it, which is a strategy you can look up if you're okay with locking in that money and not touching it. Which if you're saving it and not touching it and you already have an emergency fund in place, it could be an option. There are other things you can do, but just make sure that the account is FDIC insured. Now, if you're in a longer time horizon, you're getting now into territory where you might want to consider investing the money. However, you have to be able to understand the risk associated with this. Because unlike these types of accounts, if you invest your money, you can lose your money. Yes, you can make a lot of money, but you can also lose it. So it comes down to your risk tolerance and how much you know about the investment that you're putting it in. You might also want to consider working with a financial planner to tell them this goal exactly, and they will help you figure out what to do with the money. Obviously, there are fees associated with that. Sorry for another long video, but I hope that helped.
What are the top questions people forget to ask when buying a house? Why is the seller leaving? Is the home in a flood zone or prone to other natural disasters? What's included in the sale? Were there any additions or major renovations? How much have homes sold for in the neighborhood? What's the history of past insurance claims? How long has the house been on the market? How much will I pay in closing?
Your documents that you need to get yourself pre-approved are your last 2 months of bank statements, all pages of your bank statements. All pages, right? So sometimes the last page is left blank on purpose by the bank that you bank with. So sometimes people will send their bank statements missing that page, but an underwriter still will want to see it because on the bottom it will say page 6 of 7, and then it's like, where's the last page, right? Although it's blank, we still need it, right? So very important, have last 2 months of bank statements, all pages. If you're a W-2 employee, you need your W-2s. The lender might, for the past 2 years, you need tax returns for the past 2 years. Now, some lenders might not require tax returns if you're going W-2, so just make sure you check with that lender because you don't want to oversend information that you don't need.
Agreed.
Right? So you got your last 2 years, W-2s, tax returns, last 30 days of pay stubs, 2 months of bank statements, copy of your ID.
What's going on, family? So I just highlighted some quick important facts for when you're home shopping that you should really focus on. Garage doors, that could be an issue. You want to make sure it's functional, especially if you want to put something in the garage, okay? Roofs cost a lot of money, not something you want to deal with. So figure that out with the homeowner, how old that bad boy is, okay? Windows can definitely be a huge issue, especially if it's towards the end of their life cycle, and they only last 15 years. Check that out. Dishwashers, gas ovens, refrigerators, right? We want to make sure that our food isn't going rotten. Dryers and washing machines. We don't want no dirty clothes coming out the washing machine, especially if you're expecting to go into a big meeting and smelling funky. That's the last thing you want. So think about that stuff, okay? Air conditioners, boilers. How many families lived in that house with the same boiler? And is it going to be your debt that you don't need to deal with? And last but not least, hot water heaters only last 15 years, all right? So some food for thought when you're out there home